to switch with, I think you said Gloria, you said you had to go early.
Um, Sorry, let me just hit video. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yes, I am hosting another Zoom meeting at 7. So I had requested coming out of order
Okay.
because I don't know how long the business will take, and Rauscher Farm is, considerably far in. But I don't know. I try to I see that Miss Ordung is here. If the other pieces of business are not being dealt with tonight, I could request following that notice of intent for Counterpane Brook.
I think that
I think the
Bethany,
it's my
I'm
feeling
okay.
that the Counterpane Brook will be very quick.
Okay, and could I go in after that then?
I think that would be fine.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, so we will start with the continuation for the
To join
Counterpane.
this meeting. Kevin was AWOL.
I'm just gonna mute Sean for a second. Actually, can you mute Sean? Just so he's not worried about like while he's dealing with transitioning. So we have the continuation of the Counterpane Brook culvert replacement project. That's our extra member.
I'm just reflecting that this has been 5 years now with COVID and Zoom, and the same things keep happening. Cats keep walking into screens. People keep forgetting to mute.
The
It's
best
just,
part,
it's
honestly.
remarkable. Yeah.
It's the tax. There we go. This is our fifth member. Okay, so we received the additional information, which was just a few minimal items. I think we went over the gist of everything that's going to happen with the work. I did take a look at those. It seems fine. I don't have any further questions.
All right, wonderful.
So I just want to make sure that there's nobody here from the public. Let me look at the participants tab. Anybody from the public here? I see no one. I do see two phone numbers, so I'm not sure. 508 number, are you here to address the Counterpane Brook culvert replacement?
Glenn Kowalski, no.
Hey, Glenn. Okay. And then the 978 number, are you here to address the
14
culvert
Bolton.
replacement? 14 Bolton. Okay, great. Okay. Don or Sean, did you have any comments about the culvert replacement project?
No, it looks complicated otherwise, but
Yeah, well, I think it's a improvement over the section that's being replaced, and then an overall improvement in the capacity of flow during substantial flood waters, which I think is also an improvement over existing conditions. So, okay. Do I hear well, I hope Sean's back so we can actually have a vote. Which might have been good to let Gloria go first.
Is the conservation speaking? I think she may be on mute.
Yeah, apologies.
Okay, there we go. Awesome. Okay. So Sean, we were just want to make sure that did you have any comments about the culvert replacement project or any questions? We got the information we asked for. And I didn't have any further questions to deliberate on.
No.
Okay. So, and Don said he didn't have any additional questions. Being that, is there a motion to close?
make a motion to close.
Second.
Okay, and then is there a motion to issue an order of conditions to approve the project with typical special conditions, that we would normally apply? I'm just trying to think of what I would apply to this beyond what we've already discussed.
I make so motion.
Okay, thank you.
to approve the notice of intent for the Counterpane Brook Culvert replacement.
And second.
Okay, great. A roll call vote. Kim, Don,
Aye.
Sean,
Sean's and I.
aye. Okay, great. Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Appreciate you guys getting that information over quickly, and hopefully we'll turn around the order of conditions so you can go out to bid quickly as well.
Very good.
Oh,
Thank you
great.
very much.
Thank you very
Mhm.
much. We are actually already out to bid, but
Okay.
the bids are not open yet. Is there just an approximate timeline of when we would have that draft?
We should have it, well, it wouldn't be a draft, it would be issued, it would be the permit itself issued.
Okay.
And we have 21 days to issue, so we'll try to get that out within that time frame.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Gloria, are you ready?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Sierra. Okay. I have sent out this month's report. I also sent you out 2 sets of minutes, August and September, because I owed you August. So just so the projects are ongoing. The conservation preparation for winter is underway, and there's some initial proposal programming for 2026. I'd just like to say one thing. The barn electricity, which just because it's been a while, okay, and what happened there was historically I met with the facilities director some months ago, and he brought in an electrician, and there was a sort of verbal quote that was promised in writing and then never showed up. And that was based on taking the electricity from the farmhouse, because the farmhouse is supplied. And that's why, out of the Brownshire Farm money is there's a payment to that electricity bill. And so at that point, the proposal was to take the money from the farmhouse, which meant sinking the cable, so it would go across the grass and then somehow underneath the road and then up. So that was one solution. And then, as I say, it never materialized. The quote never materialized. And then there was uncertainty about quite who the procurement officer might be for the town or the timeline of that. So we put the whole thing, we tabled it for a bit. However, we've now since decided to resurrect it and to get a second approach, which would be to get National Grid to quote for getting a supply. There's a pole very, very close to the barn, which is National Grid. So we were thinking about trying to get some sense of what National Grid would charge rather than digging up underneath. But until we get that sense of what they might be talking about, there's no comparison here to weigh up. And then if we did decide to go back and recommend to you that we sunk the cable in the ground and under the road, then we would need to get actual written quotes. So that's where it is now. Does that make any questions on that? No? Okay. So the rest of it is updating things like the pollinator nursery garden. We actually finally covered the entire site with the cardboard and the mulch. We also had two very good volunteer sessions during September and the beginning of October. So we also were able to clean out the bluebird nesting boxes, so they'll be ready for next year. I now need to contact the DPW and tell him to winterize the house, and what that means is literally putting in antifreeze into the pipes that then resides there through the winter and then gets blown out again in the spring. So I need to notify him by email in writing. He knows it's coming. We do need to confirm that I can place an order for the loose strife. I'm proposing 2,200, which is on the money that's attached here, because that will cover. They usually charge about 100 or 200 for the shipping because it's expensive to ship. I just wanted to bring you up to date with one resurrected invasive plant that we hadn't actually seen, but obviously has arrived now. We've cleared a lot of space. The the emblem of Scotland, the bull thistle, the big thing. Okay, well, it's invasive and it's sprung up on Rauscher Farm. So the Rauscher Farm Management Subcommittee are going to basically treat it like we treat the multiflora rose invasive plant, which was a solid wall of stuff some years ago. And now what happens is it keeps getting beat back, and we're going to have to try and do that with the thistles. Because the thistles can literally, you can watch them, you can stand there and watch them grow practically. So they are extremely, and they're very, very tangled, and they don't serve any purpose other than being invasive. There are some natural thistles, but we're not there yet until we've dealt with the invasive ones. Okay, there's the big breaking news is painting one of the boxes that deals with the traffic lights. Well, I talked about this before, but I found a second box, not the one in front of Walgreens, but I found a second one by the lights at the junction of Main Street and Brook Street. So it's on the corner of the Hannaford's car park, just right there on the road. And thanks to Phil, who got me in touch with Lee Abdullah, and then it turns out, thanks to Lee's investigation, the town already owns that box. So there is no problem about getting permission because the town has already given permission to a number of these boxes dotted around town. So the next stage is to contact Cheryl Hughes, used to run the Tinker's Cart and has since retired from that business and is working full-time as a painter. And she's a snowbird, so she goes back and forth. She's just gone back to Florida. So I will contact her and see if she is interested in doing the project when she comes back up north to escape the weather of Florida. And she did, in fact, do one of the boxes, Lee told me, and Lee was very satisfied with her. So Lee knows Cheryl's work. And so all I have to do is see if Cheryl is up for it, ask what Cheryl would charge for a fee, and then fill you guys in money-wise, and then also try and work out some sort of timing with Cheryl. All Lee requests is that I run the design, when we design the shape of the thing on the box, that I run it by Lee so she knows what's going on and can approve that. So that's one of the easiest things I've ever done for Rauscher Farm. Nothing like all the other things. Okay, is that any questions? Nope. Lots of publicity and outreach going out. There will be the photograph show in November, and what else? The money stuff. Okay, well, I'd like to talk a little bit about the money. Okay, because we know that the annual mow, Sam Bell, is not available for this year. Rauscher Farm Management Subcommittee, the guys, I hasten to add, not me, are picking up the high priority areas to prevent the woody growth getting a hold. That leaves, we had budgeted, as in past years, for this annual conservation growth because of the equipment and all of that, $1,800. That suddenly becomes freed up in the financial year that we are now in. I have not specified quite specifically how to reallocate that money, but I am proposing to you that we have two basic, the usual invasives. We might get a leg up on something to do with the thistles, but I don't know yet. And the other thing is to do extensive more signage on Rauscher Farm. We need signage to direct people to the pollinator nursery garden. We need updating the signage on the barn, where although some of them are double-sided and can flip, we're going to need more. So I'm actually asking your blessing to investigate those two lines of expenditure and then come back with specifics to you about X here and X there. So I'd like your feedback on that now, if I may.
The budget just says expenses, right? You don't have it broken down in the budget?
Well, yeah, I've broken it down.
No, like in the budget from town meeting.
Yeah, on this document, I've broken it down. I put in annual conservation mower 00 with an asterisk. The Beatles, 2,200. National Grid.
No, I'm sorry. I mean what we approved at town meeting. It just says expenses, right?
Yes, expenditures.
At town meeting. It's not broken down to like grass cutting. Then we can do
line
whatever we
items.
want with it. Yeah,
No, that's
that's
right. It's rolled into your
great.
conservation budget. You then allocate 5K to be spent on Rauscher Farm.
Terrific.
Okay,
I
so
have
there
no
are
problem with the plan then.
okay. All right. So apart from that, I have applied to the Clinton Cultural Council. There was a deadline in October the 16th to have Professor Robert Gagier here next summer. And I talked to Rob. We had a date because you have to submit a date with the grant. And it would to do a presentation, and we will provide electricity in the barn, through generators probably at that point. So he can do a presentation and then an on-site visit to the Rauscher Farm nursery garden. The goal with that would then be to have a trickle to keep pushing, because in the open space plan, the updated open space plan, there has been provisions to be looking for small areas around town where there could be native plants planted for those pollinators at risk. So now trying to tie in those two pieces of information. So we do a project on Rauscher Farm and then see what we can then distribute around the community with anyone who's agreed to work on another spot in town. So that's all TBD'd, and it's not part of the Cultural Council grant. Cultural Council grant covers Rob Gagier, his time, and then also the design and publicity around that particular event. Don't know if we'll get the money, don't know how much. If don't get any money from the Clinton Cultural, I've deliberately placed his presentation after into the next financial year. So if I hear we don't get the money, I may I'll come back to you guys for the next financial year for a fee for Rob. So I'm trying to make sure that somehow this happens. Somehow we get him back on Rauscher Farm, as he is the advisor for that project. Freshwater jellyfish, I think we'd love this. Okay, so the freshwater jellyfish, which may or may not appear every September, they come at the end of September, and there is a website for them. And so what I am proposing is we turn this into an in your own time event, right? And so we will publicize it, saying, we can't guarantee this is happening, but if you want to go out on Clamshell Pond and sign up to be citizen scientists to look for these freshwater jellyfish and then take photographs so we have a record. And all the rest of it is, yes, there'll be a story walk next year.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Those things, do they sting?
No.
Okay.
They're about the size of a quarter.
There's a lot of stories about them being in Walden Pond. If you want to look
I
it
just
up.
didn't want to get sued by somebody who got stung. Sorry, I'm thinking insurance.
And then sometimes they're a bit like the Loch Ness Monster, one year they may just not show up. So presumably they're buried. Obviously, they're somewhere down in the mud, right? That's right. And then when they feel it's their time, up they pop. And they float around. And then they disappear again. But there are apparently people who are very interested in this. The other thing I wanted to run by you, but I really don't know how to pull this one off. I am researching fireflies, right? Okay, that they come. And apparently there is a huge, huge following of people following. It's called firefly tourism. Okay, so, and apparently there are fireflies. I don't think we have them on Rauscher Farm. I know that who will syncopate how they do this, right? So there are people who travel all over the world to see this. I'm investigating it. I don't know if there's anything how we could do it, because technically Rauscher Farm's open dawn till dusk, right? So at any night time, I would come to you and ask permission, but quite what that would mean, 1 night, 2 nights, 3, if possible. And it's just a heads up for next June. Okay. But if by any chance I found there was anything documented, apparently Tufts have done a study on this. If I can find anything documented, and I just thought, if we had syncopated, that would just sort of be so wild. But you never know. Okay. And all the rest is, don't know about the money for the Pastor Clamshell Pond, etc. Because don't know what's happening with the town. So
Can you
that's
be
me.
more specific about that?
Well, this is where you guys would put an article on a warrant that would ask for 100K because it's been ascertained that the 144K will be insufficient, given that the only quote for a management of the project is already at 37,000. So what we agreed to a few months ago was to put it all on hold, go for some more money, which would bring it up to, if we
But we
took
don't. We
that
still
one,
don't know how much it's going to cost.
well,
I think
no,
the
but
problem is because it goes over a certain amount that we're going to have to put it out to bid, and probably to put it to bid, we're going to need somebody to manage it. Just
well,
because I don't think
that's
we
the
have
case.
anybody. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what the permanent building committee have said.
right. So
And
I think
that's
the
where we,
first step before we put something on town meeting, we're going to have to. Can we use any of that 140 to pay for somebody to put a bid together? I think that's what's going to have to happen, if I remember what Michael told me,
oh, I see what you mean.
because we can't just go for money like just like bag of cash. Like I think people are going to say, what are you going to spend this on? So if we have to spend 35 out of the 140 to get another 100 to cover the rest of the project, say it's, 210 or whatever it is. I think
Okay.
before we go to town meeting, I think it's been a while since I talked to Michael about this. But my recollection is that it's a project that's big enough where we can't just slap a bid together ourselves. We need someone to kind of manage it and pull something together.
Right.
I'll ask him again, and I'm sorry, I can't remember.
Yeah, no, I think that's my understanding what you're saying. Anything over 50K
Yeah,
becomes a town project, right?
yeah.
Now, based on that and
We don't have
knowing
to
that,
use the people they suggested. They and I don't know if we have to put that out to bid if it's over 10 or 15 for someone to do the bid, but I think somebody's going to have to do it beyond staff.
okay, right. And the issue that we bumped into in April was the town found one company that would agree to manage the project, right? And that was to manage and oversee it and put the bids out for the
I don't
actual
know if that,
construction.
and again, I'm trying to remember since it's been a while. I don't know if they searched and only found one. I think they recommended somebody just because that company's worked with the
They
town
did. They
previously.
didn't, that's
So
what
if we want to
precise.
find somebody cheaper, I don't think that's prohibited. And again, I'll follow up with Michael or double check my notes. I
Okay,
spoke with
so
him after a meeting or before a meeting, and I don't remember.
that would be smashing if you would help me through this, because I feel like I'm sort of chasing, we're chasing our own tail. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no one's going to finish it unless we finish it. So, and
Yeah.
just asking for money, I don't think is going to work.
Okay, fine.
So, but I don't think the good news is, well, we might have a special. It's already November, so
I don't think we're going to make it based on what you're saying, Sean. I think it's
yeah. I
going
mean,
to
I'm
have
trying
to.
to think of like if we had a special meeting, we might have a special meeting to approve some contracts, but that's still up in the air. So, Rochester Farm Path,
No,
the path.
but my question to you, which was me trying to do due diligence on your behalf, was to say that the company that the town
Yeah.
that basically Mike found, right? That was
It's
one
somebody.
quote.
Yep.
So, and my feeling was, if you're going to spend 38 grand, you probably want to get more than one quote from the person who's going to manage the project.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I'm just talking about my own due diligence.
Sure. Yeah.
When I come to you with proposals, things like that, I don't pull things out of they're not rabbits out of my hat. I'm
Mhm.
trying to make sure, you know.
Have you done RFPs for something like this before?
I'm
So
sorry,
we'd
what?
have to do an RFP then, to ask people. So
Well, that's the question to ask Mike.
gotcha.
In other words, if if as an over 50K project, it is by definition under the purview of the Permanent Building Committee, then they would, to me, but I don't know, because the whole
Don't
thing's
count on
got
them for
very,
anything.
very confusing, right? And I was not, I didn't feel that I was being sufficiently professional on your behalf to simply take a $57,000 quote from someone that the town, that Mike just said because he was doing business with. Because I didn't see how I could, if someone asked me, how would I answer that? No, we didn't do the proper path, but I'm happy to do whatever the real path is, if I would just be able to be told what the real path is
Okay.
and get it going. And I think you're absolutely, I don't think there's any hope of this until summer, until the annual town meeting at this rate.
Well, we'll see what we can do. I mean, again, something
Okay.
might, it's the contracts are going slowly, so that's on your side. Let me see what I can find out.
And as again, if I'm being overcautious and I'm told I have to take the one,
No, but just don't.
I'm just not comfortable about
The Permanent
conducting
Building Committee
business
is not
like
going to
that.
not going to do anything for you. So they're terrific about approving things, but this is not on their agenda. So if you want this done, we're going to have to do it ourselves.
Okay, so touch base next week, next meeting.
Yeah, let me track Michael down.
Yeah. Okay. And if you need me to recap any, I can
Yep.
just make an email note and send it round as to
Sure.
where we left it last time.
Yep.
Which is, I've just said it, but you don't.
No, I remember. I think it was still a little open-ended with him, just basically that we're going to need like a real bid to get a number, like we need real numbers. So for both the manager and the project itself. So
Okay,
let me
smashing.
get a little path here and I'll
Yeah.
let you know.
That would be smashing. I've been at this since 2010.
Yep.
This one
The rail trail
project.
just got some money. They're almost done. We're checking off everything now. Gloria.
I
Don't
know.
worry.
No,
So
I mean, well, I understand the rail trail is great because the state really wants to spend the money on the rail trail. It's the whole state's reputation is, hangs on that. So that's great. And Clinton benefits. So, but I sit here going, cheer up.
it's going to be
cheer
fine.
up. Okay. All right. So, all right. I am the poor people on the telephone. Thank you for letting me come in early on the agenda. And I will, if you guys are happy, I will disappear.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Leaving. Whoops.
Okay, so the next thing, we have a couple of continuations because they're missing information. So we'll move on to the next item, which was a request to amend the order of conditions for 14 Bolton Road from Glenn Kowalski on behalf of his client.
Are you ready for me? Oh, is that what it was? Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if you had a chance to see the latest document. It was an overlay of the originally stamped plan that Stanley Crowell had stamped in 21, the original house structure. And from my client, and then we're obviously in 25, we overlaid what he did build. And I'm not sure if the commission had the full story from him from the beginning and the original enforcement order, which I have here. But the gentleman had bought the site without knowing there was an order of conditions on the property. In fact, it's seeming, and I'll know tomorrow, that the order was potentially recorded after he bought it because it was a title search and it didn't show up the cloud on the deed. So he bought it, not informing the commission, not following order of conditions, as you, I'm sure, are aware, the order of conditions, and I have it right here. Condition number 22 or 23, notify within 48 hours before you construct, putting up the erosion control and have an inspection by the commission, 23. None of that happened because he wasn't aware of wetlands, for one, and what they were. He went to the building department, got a building permit for a house after he bought it back in October of 24, built the structure, And then it only came up that he was in violation. At some point, he wanted the shed. He asked the building inspector about the shed, and it's only 10 by 10, so it's not 200 square feet. But then there was a case where it was stated that it was too close to the house, and then it was pushed back. And that's within that same apparent month, the commission was aware that there was a structure in a house there, or at least a shed. So what we did was take and overlay the original.
We were aware. So we were aware of the house being built. And then at some point there was an erosion control issue, which our previous building clerk called and had addressed and was addressed quickly. So I think that there's maybe a little bit of a gap in there, but thank you for some of the additional information.
Background. Okay. The house that's out there now is over also that disturbance line that was brought up that the shed is in.
Yep.
I'm not sure if the commission has seen the overlay.
So
have you
I'm
seen
going
the
to share
overlay?
it now.
Oh, thank you.
I had a feeling about the corner of this house being too close when we went for that initial site walk.
Thank you. Yes, the lower left corner, if you're facing from Bolton Street facing up,
so
that
this
is
this is
over
Bolton
the
Street,
line,
if you're
and
looking
then
at it. Yep, and this is this line here,
and
this green line is our
the
limit of work line.
Yes, ma'am. And then a small portion of the patio also is over. And so now that we're in that shape with the as-built and then the original plan, and the client not being aware of wetlands or order conditions, I would like I know this has been dragging on, but I would like a little bit more time just to research that deed, because I feel that if the title company didn't find it, I know this isn't so much you, but there's a little bit of, I don't know if there's such thing as giving, or I'm not saying sympathy, but the gentleman might have bought this, and it appears from discussions he did buy it without knowing that there was anything called conservation, and then built the structure without ever informing the commission at the beginning. No pre-construction site meeting, no erosion control review, and then only found out once the shed was put up that this had occurred. We have offered, we would like, if appropriate, to get one more continuance to research that background. There might be recourse on him against the buyer, it appears, but that's not your issue so much. It's more that he did things without knowing that there was even a thing called wetlands. And now that then he found out, and that shed itself, yes, of course, it's even further and closer to the resource area. The monuments would, unless they ask him to tear the house down, the monuments wouldn't be able to go exactly where you had shown them on the original plan. And the limit of work policy, I would say that might be, as there's no bylaw here, but it is obviously on a plan. And once you accept the plan and it's not appealed, you are to go by what's on the plan. We can't argue that point. And we've had that from the old Phil Nato back in some Sterling case where somebody wasn't happy with something that was on a plan, and it was clear that, well, it's too bad it's on the plan and follow it. So, and we've been there for a long time and seeing these things. But if we understood one more point, was there subversion in recording it? Because normally a bank, as you are aware, the bank for the buyer and also the attorney for the buyer normally would not let a person buy the property with this cloud on it. This order of conditions cloud. We do know that because we get hired quite a bit to clean up these old orders. And we've seen where there are orders that are recorded and the title company doesn't find them, and then the thing gets built and on it goes, and then the buyer doesn't know about it. And then eventually we get called in, and we just did one in Grafton where we found some problems. Over the years we've done a few. So that's all. It's just that go on. Thank you, ma'am.
When the request for the COC was filed, it was filed by another entity who we were led to believe was the builder. And he was concerned that he needed to get the certificate of compliance so he could get that last bit of money out of escrow. So I'm not sure how this all kind of plays into that when when it seemed like the builder was the one who was coming in for the COC.
No, could I state that in the purchase and sale? Thank you. So through the chair, of course, through you. So in the P&S, it was required by through the attorney for the buyer, was required that the seller go for the certificate of compliance. In other words, clean up the property or get rid of the order on the deed. So that was paid for by the seller. The only thing that was paid for, as far as surveyors, by the owner present was he did hire for a good sum of money to do a property line survey. So when he put the fence up, that he wouldn't be putting it on somebody else's property. Specifically, I would say the people to the rear, because they're right up against that other property with the house on it. And so he did. I did ascertain that. We can show that it was the request did come from the seller as part of a P&S requirement.
Right.
But
so then how
again,
does that...
the seller did not build the house though, and again, the buyer never knew about this thing.
Okay.
This order. But we can prove that he might not have known about it by just checking the date that the order was recorded. Again, if it was recorded after the person bought the property, and I've seen that happen before, because somebody would have a property, they don't want all the questions from the bank or the money lender to the buyer. They'll record the order after the property is bought. And then that person just goes forward and builds the house without that question about, well, you got an order on the deed. Not that we haven't sold properties with orders on the deed and made it clear that it's just an order and there was no, even though it's a cloud, not called an encumbrance anymore, that it's not affecting the buyer or the bank that's lending the money. But I didn't have time to research that last piece about was it recorded after he bought it. Again, the title company would have been in error. Because he did say he did hire my guy hired a title company to ensure that the deed was clean.
The order was recorded on
Yes.
June 15th, 2022.
So some way that the title company, I guess we would get the title company's document and ask, why did the bank lend the money? Unless the client did know about it, why did the bank or the attorney or the buyer allow, and it can be allowed, to buy the house? All I'm going to say is my client did not know about the plan, or that he had to follow a plan, or did not know, and also did not know about pre-construction site meetings, looking at sill fence, 48 hours. And I'm not totally surprised. This can happen, obviously. And so he's asking for relief. But because we would have to potentially, unless part of the house is asked to be removed, we couldn't comply totally with the no disturbance line on the plan, because the house, part of the house is over it. We have offered on that 20-foot diameter dirt in the rear. I know we've already offered, as you know, removal of all exotic invasives on that line. There's trash, there's steel, there's pipes. Whatever's back there, we would clean it up. There is no erosion from as the shed was put on it was already level. That's why I showed the two trees at the two back corners to show that and the size of those trees, the cherry, I believe, and the pine. I'm not looking at that plan, but there was no alteration of the slope, so it's not erosion into the wetland itself or over the slope. It's stable. And the only unstable area is that dirt pile in the back that we want to stabilize with both woody plants and by conservation seed mix.
Okay. So what I would like to see happen, just kind of first impressions, is,
okay.
On the question of the request for an amendment, we all know that we can't amend this order of conditions to permit work be closer than the existing limit of work. So my vote, we can discuss this, but I would be voting to not entertain a request to amend. I would like to see some sort of process through the enforcement order with some sort of, mitigation for the work that cannot be changed, and anything that can be changed needs to be pulled back with some sort of with some sort of mitigation for the work that exceeds the limit of no disturbance.
I'm hearing you. I might, we do work towards compliance always, because otherwise we're never in compliance and other things can happen when you're not in compliance. I'm not sure that an amendment can't happen. We know that if you increase the amount of resource area, if you say you're going to alter 10 square feet and you ask to alter 15, then amendment can't be happening. Work in the buffer zone. I don't know that work in the buffer zone can't be
you cannot
amended.
move the limit of work closer to the resource area through an amendment. That's what the policy says.
I've never seen that. I would like to see that. I've never seen it over my lifetime. And I've been doing this about 39 years.
I also have been doing this a while, Glenn.
I know. That's why I like to see. We work only on law. We would like to see it. And then it's everything you want.
Okay. It's also at the commission's discretion on whether to amend an order.
Yes, I know that. I know that.
We don't have to if we just don't want to. But
we know amendments aren't required by law.
Here. But my basis for this is that the amendment policy is for minor. So let's read it together.
Oh, I know how it reads, the amendment policy. You have it right in front of you. We've gone through it. It's very minor. We see a lot of amendments with more than what that amendment policy states can be done, quite a bit. But if we stick right to the amendment policy, I'll definitely go with what you're saying, of course.
So I'm not inclined to amend this order to allow for the changes that occurred in terms of the additional accessory buildings over the limit of disturbance. I think that there's room to,
Can there be a vote on that? And then we'll go forward, because there's a vote, and then the vote is negative, and then we'll do everything you ask for.
Okay. Would you like to take a vote, folks, on whether or not to accept a request to amend the order?
Well, are we voting? Am I making a motion to decline the request or to approve it and we vote against that?
Either way.
I'll make a motion that we decline the request.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, roll call vote. Aye. Don?
John, aye.
Aye.
So we decline to amend the order of conditions to allow for the changes.
We appreciate that, and we'll follow. Thank you for the vote. That's all we ask. And we'll move forward with this shed issue. If the area that they had been shown by the surveyors that did the as-built, we'll work to get it back over in that location. Keep that plan. Again, I appreciate that vote, and push it back over there, and still do the mitigation as stated for the exotic invasive and the trash and that additional planting on the dirt pile.
I think if we can switch back to the enforcement order thing. I think that this plan is the plan that you've shown with the overlay off the original line, which is different from the surveyed plan from Colonial. With the house and all of this and part of this patio exceeding, the fact that even though we issued a cease and desist, that work continued on the property, that I think we're going to probably need something a little bit more than just invasive species removal in terms of the kind of the scale where this has gone. I could tell from the initial conversations with the homeowner that it did seem that he was not aware, even though Bolton Holdings was the one that was coming in for the COC that did seem to be aware of some of the was aware of the site plan, was aware of the work. I'm not sure how that interfaces with your client at this point, how they know Bolton Holdings. So that would be helpful to understand that relationship. But certainly anything that can be easily pulled back should be pulled back into the limit of work, and things that cannot be at this point, I think we would have to have a discussion on, but also some sort of impervious mitigation would have to occur for the things that have gone over the limit of the limit of work line.
Sure. Or Or maybe infiltration at roof runoff, Coltech. I'm sure.
Something that makes, something that makes sense. You and I can have a conversation at some point, since this is not a hearing, it's an enforcement, if you'd like.
Yes.
I'd be happy to do that.
Sure. Yeah. I appreciate that very much, and we'll. I know I'm not sure I have your direct. I know you called, but if I have that direct line, I'll make a call, or if
fine.
you do, or if there's an email or whatever that we can get together and discuss that, and then obviously it goes back to the commission. But so we know where there's a few pieces of mitigation, and then I hear what you're saying on some pervious patio maybe, or Coltech or something to put that rainwater back into the ground. Sure.
Okay. You got Sean, Don, are you okay if I have a conversation with Glenn offline, since this is not this is not a hearing, because we have no permit in front of us. We're dealing with enforcement at this point.
Yeah, as long as you keep us posted.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm happy. If I just one clip, you're gonna move the shed. That's basically one of the things we're talking about, right?
That is one of the things we're
Yes, sir.
talking about.
Okay.
It's like, can we just?
We do a lot of talking, and it's just a shed. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, thanks, John. Okay. So you want a continuance? I think you can, communicate with Sierra, our agent, on the date that you're looking for. If you're not ready to come back for November, that's, let us know.
I'm so as long as we can have I am ready to come back in November, because we would
Okay.
like to get the conversation going, get something on a plan, move it forward, work towards even, unless, well, the one thing we might ask is if the shed movement is part of enforcement, if we do work towards contract or whatever it takes to get the shed moved, we would like to come back with some other positive things happening, such as even the shed move, maybe by the time that we convene, or you convene again in November.
Okay.
Because there's really no soil disruption. It's just part of getting the thing moving and going. Exotic invasives, we'll wait till we hear from you. Some of that stuff is obviously we're not going to do it when the ground is frozen, but that's not a major project to pull plants. It's not a machine that's just pulling plants. Some of it has to do with a pry bar popping underneath a rose bush, and you pull on it and they come out. They're not extensively large exotics, so most of them can be removed. That's all by hand, anyways. That's what that is.
Well, thanks for the offer. Yeah.
Okay, so mitigation to account for this over the line, and then eventually there will be some agreement. I take it that for these new monument positions, which I did show on the earlier plan, we're even if they get to be moved, but we'll have to work towards some agreement on those monuments. That's all. Okay.
Okay.
Well, we thank you very much for your time, Clinton Conservation and Tim Roth and all. Thank you.
Thanks, Glenn.
Cheers.
Have a good day. Good day. Cheers.
It is just, and it's been since January. It is just a shed. Okay, I think we have bills. What do you got for us, Sierra? Bills? I cannot hear you.
Nope. Nope. You want to go up? Oh, is she hosting?
I'm host. I am a co-host.
She go out and back in again?
Yeah, maybe,
Because it doesn't look like she's muted.
yeah, I wonder if you click does what you're working on have a microphone? So if you go to the arrow button beside the audio, like there's audio and then there's a little caret arrow next to it, and then maybe pick your speaker, pick your microphone.
While she's sorting that out, are we really meeting the Wednesday before Thanksgiving?
I'll have to pick another date. I'll have to pick another date.
That's a working night for me. We host, so I'll be here, but it might be
Well-
body only.
Maybe we can pick another date. Maybe we can just
Yeah.
delay to the following week or something.
I think
Right.
I've got select board the week before, but I can give you an hour at least. So whatever works. Actually, it might be before, after. But yeah, I can give you an hour.
Maybe we can meet the last week of November.
I think that might be the
The
last
same
weekend.
same issue.
That's the 20. I think that's it. I don't think there's 5. I think it's,
A late Thanksgiving this year.
yes, the latest it can be. Yeah. It's the 26th. So
Okay,
we could meet the
19th.
19th or the 3rd. I mean, either way, I've got select board. But again, I could give you an hour.
Okay.
Something to think about.
Okay, where's the darn agenda? I lost it again.
I had it here somewhere.
'Cause I
We've
think
got correspondence, invoices, National Grid for 1842,
yeah. Is there another bill on there?
Pinoca Minolta 12123.
Yeah, I think those are the two bills.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a bill for National Grid for $18.42.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Second,
great.
Sean, I.
And then we have I think it's the copier bill for 142.
14. Is that what you have?
But yeah, what's the amount?
I've got 12123.
121.23.
Motion to approve.
second,
Roll call
Sean,
vote,
aye.
Tim. Aye.
aye.
Okay.
Got a Fenway Bark thing.
I don't think we ever got a response, and I've been trying to onboard Sierra, who I forgot to introduce because I've talked to her
Yeah,
so
thanks
much.
a lot.
I've talked to her so much over the last 2
Thanks.
weeks, and I was like, "Hey,
Thanks.
Sierra's here." Would you like to say this? So this is Sean. Sean is also on the select board. You've seen some emails flying around with him, and this is Dawn. This is Sierra. And I'm sure the
Yes.
squares aren't lining up the same way for you guys as they are for me. Well, we'll figure out the microphone thing before our next meeting. We'll practice or something, make sure it's working.
Can you speak for her as far as onboarding? Are we all set with
We'll
things
do
we
some thumbs.
need?
We're gonna do some thumbs ups and thumb down. Do you have email?
Yep.
Do you have a place
Okay.
to sit?
Wow. All right. I should quit now.
Uh,
Do you have
Any-
like an voicemail? Still shared? Yeah. Do you have access to anything or no? Like, not really. No. Okay. All right. Computer. I don't know what else.
the whole conservation at Clinton MA issue, getting into that email box. Did you
For
have
you,
any luck
her?
with IT? Okay. She's typing.
For you or
For me.
oh, she's typing.
They
They
say
did
they
say
added.
they added you.
How am I supposed to get into it?
Do we still have that problem? Is that what you're talking about?
They had to repopulate the box, or because we went to a new server. It's Microsoft 365 now, so I think they, instead of everyone signing in, it's a shared box,
Well, you can
but
tell
you have
me.
to share people.
You
I
can
don't know.
tell me on the phone tomorrow.
Me or her.
Her. I think she's typing me.
Okay.
IT has been hard to contact. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. But before I forget, do you see the email I sent about 23 Coin Street?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's right. We should talk about that briefly. Yes.
So I think we can do that under old business because I just found out last night. I guess the deadline had passed. We got an extension till the 5th.
Yep.
So the select board is collecting comments, public and otherwise, from either town boards and commissions or abutters, concerned citizens. And if we have, looked at that thing and tried to figure out why that road was, and I didn't read the whole document because I was at work.
I did my,
But
I
it's
did a Post-it note scale, which is like you take a little piece of paper and you put it up to the scale. This is just how I do it on the computer. If I don't have the plans in front of me, right? So I
Did
put
you
up
see the
scale.
plan? Did you see them though?
Yeah.
Okay.
I put it up to the scale. I took my little 20 feet, and it looks like it's still approximately 18 feet.
That's a lot of units for a road.
I
I
know.
don't,
So I mean, our main comment is we have no comment on everything that's outside of wetlands jurisdiction in terms of the number of units. If they were to try to change the road, they would have to file a new notice of intent because it would have additional resource area impacts. And we are not inclined to permit like a full road. But they would have to come.
Right.
They would have to come with us with something that works in terms of performance standards, and they don't have a lot of room to replicate on that site. So if they increased, typically if they increased impacts, they would have to replicate more. And Don was big on this one too. When we were looking at it, there just wasn't a lot of space,
right.
in upland areas to create new wetland, new wetlands.
All right. I'm gonna have to reach out to you offline to get something written, and I don't know if we have to put on letterhead or.
Does it have to be a formal letter?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll ask Mike. They're collecting it, and we haven't done this. I think it's the first 40B in Clinton history, I think.
Yeah, it's
so
you see them more in towns with lots of restrictive bylaws, and we don't really have a lot of
I think they just
bylaws.
weren't happy with the planning board, and so they said we'll go nuke on them.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. All right. I'll talk to you later then.
Okay.
About comments.
Did you discuss it at all at the meeting last night?
Yeah, I mean, Mary had done a site walk, and I hadn't seen the plans at that point. So
as long as the plans that Sierra sent over and that I opened the Dropbox, as long as those are the plans that they're still working on, they look similar to the ones that we approved in the order of conditions.
Just with the road. Yeah, and I didn't compare the two. So it was mostly anecdotal stuff from abutters. It was a lot of stuff we saw. The building commissioner, I think, had some concerns.
I mean, it's a significant change. I'll pull it up. From here on out, it's pretty significant.
That's why I was getting confused, because I was thinking, like, I was trying to remember, like, is this the same property? Because I don't know how they're getting 24 into there. Because I thought they had scaled down once with us. Like, didn't they go from 9 or something to 5? And then now they're up to 24.
They had a little semicircle here, and then when they went back, they had like a circle of house, like little townhouses all around a circle. And then when they went back for subsurface testing, because they were doing stuff for the stormwater report, they found that it was actually amenable, in their opinion, to put all these houses here, because they can't put anything over here because of all the ledge.
Right.
That's quite.
I don't know.
But I don't remember it being this many units. But we don't have anything to say from here on out. I will double check this more. Take my little Post-it note, but I think that they know they would have to come back to us, because this is their area of replication. The edge of the wetland, they're filling this edge of wetland to come in, and they would have to find another place to, like, connected to this wetland to replicate more wetlands.
Okay.
So
okay, so if the road changes, they have to come back to us.
If they have, and if they increase impacts, which we were just discussing on the last with Glenn and 14 Bolton Road, they would need an entirely new notice of intent.
Yeah, they've added a lot more units of it.
Oh,
We have no drawings, we can look at it. And I haven't.
This wasn't here before.
That's right. Yeah.
I do remember them before they closed out with us, straightening this out and putting houses along this, but I don't remember there being this many of them. Wonder if I can find the old plans.
No.
of them.
Yeah, we got them.
Let me stop share. I want to see if I have those plans quickly.
Yeah, I
I
think it caught
remember
everybody by surprise.
It seemed
Or
like they
maybe-
had fewer than I would expect that they wanted originally on the old drawing. That's all I remember.
I don't think this is it. Is this it? What is this? Just
So
open.
Sierra, bottom line, like if you need, and it's not snitching or anything, like we've had issues with onboarding and things like that, and it's getting better with HR. But if you need anything, please feel free to reach out. It's a point of emphasis for the board, or the other board. Especially if Sterling's giving anything we're not giving you.
We do need to, I don't think this happened. We do need to renew our MACC membership. Sierra, if you could put that on your to-do list. Because that was something Max was supposed to do in the summer, and I think with the transition that didn't happen. The plan date we have,
August 19th was the last, was what we approved, I think.
our site
This
plan.
August?
Did you find the order?
Let me go here. August 19th. And then we did order conditions on 9/17,
Mm,
September 17th.
I think that's the ANRAD. I think
Oh.
that's the ANRAD.
That's the end of it?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Because we got that out, we got the order of conditions out in November of 2024.
Yeah, here we go, yeah. November
There was an
13th.
Yeah, there was an ANRAD. and that was a- What is the date of those darn plans?
Right.
I think we approved it. I remember it was something, it was like in April. Well, anyway, I thought it was going to be easy to find. This is why I hate
Yeah,
digging
yeah,
around.
yeah. I will apologize. I think that might have been the problem. We had some issues with the oops, sorry. I'm not muted.
Finding files.
Yeah, 11/4 has got the drawings, I think. One attachment. Right, so it had fewer, definitely fewer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There were 12 on the old drawing.
You find they did change it before. The ones I'm finding are still with it around the semicircle, around the circle. And I know they did change it before they closed with us to have
Right, I remember that too.
the strip, which was, quite a few more, but it wasn't so many that we wouldn't. It was outside of our jurisdiction, so it was.
It was
not
a
much-
planning board. I'm not sure what the planning board had with them, but that's what set them off, I think.
Yeah. Here we go. Is it?
Yeah, 11/4, 11/18. No, what's the date today?
Here it is. This is what we had. This is the one. I think this is the one we ended up approving.
Right.
This is what we ended up sharing. Where'd it go?
Oh, you had it.
I did have it, and then it jumped away from me. Did the whole thing go away? I think I'd be better at this.
Hmm.
Is it? I said leave page because I thought we were going to leave. Totally had it and then it went away.
Oh,
Like too many emails.
oh, there's a lot of drawings.
I'm just going to search for that. Lasala. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, 12 won't count. I get it. Yeah.
At least now I know what I'm looking for.
November, what's this date here? I hate this email.
Okay. This is the one that we ended up approving. Those were the units, and they have way more than this now. They've stuck one in over here. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like what Dawn said.
But these are all dated August. That's that's a little confusing. They're all in an August email.
I think that's because when we were working with
Right.
Lourdes to get the order
Mhm.
together, there were some files that were being
Mhm.
managed to be all in the same place. But this is the site plan. This
Right.
was the site plan. So our
That's what I
limits,
remember. Yeah.
yeah, these here. So I guess it's not too much different. I think they just add. So how many units did they have?
24.
24. So they found a way
So I
to
don't know if
double.
these are doubles, right?
Right. They found a way to double whatever they have here. But it does seem I know they've added something here. They must have, turned these, maybe they turned
August
these.
has 3 or 4 now.
Yeah, so they've made these smaller. But it's close to the same layout as what is here,
Mhm.
plus something right here.
Except this
Okay.
engineer's new, and that's practically right on the anyway on that hill.
And right on do we have a zoning setback? But that's why they're going 40B, right? Is to not have the zoning setback. I don't know
I
anything
guess
about zoning.
the only people I think can argue this, like I think if they get 40B approved, then they're exempt from planning board, but zoning is going to have the final say. So and they're not exempt from what we can do, but I think that's my understanding is that ZBA has the final, like that's the last hurdle. Planning board is out now. So, all right, I'll reach out to you and sort that out. Thank you.
Well, heads up, I'm out of town next week.
You're out of town next week? Okay, so maybe tomorrow.
Tomorrow I'm packing and leaving tomorrow at 5 p.m.
I'll send you an email. You can send it back at your leisure.
Sounds good. You can still text me, Sierra. Don't worry.
Oh, she can.
You can text me.
Whatever.
I'm just not writing anything on letterhead next week.
As clerk or whatever I am, I'll take that up. I'll have to find the letterhead.
I think Dawn's technically clerk, and you're
What am I?
technically
You're technically vice chair?
You're vice
Nice.
chair.
All right, that's a promotion.
from that last time we made a vote.
Yeah, that's better than the
Oh.
other gig I have. I'm clerk over there, so.
We just a aside, Sierra, there's a person that was on the commission briefly but didn't attend and was not reappointed. So you don't have to continue keeping them on the email chain. It's just the four. It's just these
Rachel
guys.
Benass.
Yeah.
We're working on a fifth. But
Okay.
motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Second. Is there a second?
I second.
Roll call vote. Kim, I.
Sean,
Aye.
Great. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks. Sorry I was late. Sierra, look forward to meeting you in person. Again, ping me if you need anything. And Kim, I'll send you something about the thing.
Thanks,
Don,
everybody.
great seeing you.